So Hornqvist was traded, then he wasn't traded, and now it's a lot of up in the air. For those who don't know, Kevin Weeks reported that Hornqvist and Matheson were being traded. I don't know if there was going to be any other parts to that deal. But I think it was a bit too early to be reporting on that. Maybe to say there's discussions about that, but obviously somewhere between the information that he got and because I do think it's true, by the way. I do think that this was a deal that was at least on paper penciled in to have a look at, but obviously it was still quite young within the trade, and I assume this kind of happens quite often, and it's a good look for us to see like how these trades work and how it all happens, because obviously it's a little bit interesting that the deal hasn't gone through, obviously, because there's still a few things that need to be worked out, and it looks like the trade might be dead. There is a no movement clause for Hornqvist. Sorry, there's a few things that need to be worked out. There's a no trade clause for Hornqvist. So obviously to get a deal, you'd need his permission to him to waive it. But obviously you're going to get do the due diligence of trying to get a trade and a place for him to go before he's waiving it, right? Unless, you got a general idea that he's going to waive, or you've had these conversations before. Especially if it's a deal that's like, it comes up naturally within a conversation, then you can kind of reach out to the player and see. I don't think it's always a case of we're going to get him to waive and then we'll look to see what's out in the market. It could just be, a conversation between GMs, and then you kind of like the deal that's coming the other way. Now, I'm not going to comment on whether this trade is good value, because Lord knows what else may have been added to it. It's just a moot point at this point. So there's not really much there's not much room to analyze this deal, because it could have been for multiple things, and it is really just hearsay that it was really just between those two players. Although that is a Rutherford thing that does happen quite often. But at the same time, there's no real point right now. Also, there was an issue with the insurance of the contract. If he gets injured, so he's still under contract. Hornqvist, this is, by the way, for $4.3 million for the next 3 years, and obviously with money where money is right now, got to make sure that they can sort of protect that. The Matheson goes on a no movement clause next year, so obviously looking to maybe get rid of him while they can. It just seemed like that their general thing was to shed money, not add, but. The other thing is that it's not like one of those upfront deals, like he is on the hook for $5.3 million for every year for the next 3 years. It's just his base salary, so there's no bonuses to sort of offset it or anything like that. So I am a little bit surprised that they're going for this, but there might be other deals in play. Like I said, there may have been other players or other things involved in this move. But it is a very interesting story here, in the fact that like we kind of get an insight of maybe how some of these trades work, and that it is that they sort of get a deal penciled in, on paper, and then look at these things, and it's stuff that, I mean, that makes logical sense, but it's stuff you don't really think about. So yeah, right now there are reported that the deal isn't dead. Elliot Friedman and a few others have kind of don't want to say it's dead, because I think that they're in the same point that this got leaked a little bit early. So this could just be the normal thing, and it can take a day or two to work out the kinks, and then the trade goes through. And I would understand this would happen quite often when trades are being done, that they agree to something, and then they've got to work out the due diligence. It's not like a video game where it's just like, okay, we agreed, and you both get the players. You may need to go get ownership approval or a few other things, but yeah. Anyway, guys, so that is the video. What do you guys think? Do you think the trade's going to go ahead? A little bit sad that Hornqvist is on the block, although I get it. It's just I don't know about Matheson coming back, but that's again, there's no point analyzing that, because we don't know the exact how true it all was. But I think it's a great insight into how it all works. Like, common sense wise, it makes perfect sense, but I guess you just don't think about these things. So yeah. And I just saw some people bagging out Kevin Weeks for reporting it too early. You don't know, I mean, if you get a piece of information like that, you want to be, in this world, you're either first or you're last when it comes to these things. So I get reporting it out first, and some of the information he may have had, may not have been as accurate, and maybe something came up to put a stall on this that wasn't expected between when he put that tweet out and an hour later. But looks like at the moment, at least, the deal's dead, but don't be surprised if something like this happens in the next few days. But very interesting that Hornqvist may be traded if he waives his no-trade clause. Next year, it becomes a modified no-trade clause, so you know, a little bit easier to move. But obviously, you know, if he has a bit of a decline year, it might be harder to get something back for him. So yeah. Anyway, guys, that is the whole video. If you did like this video, hit the like button. Otherwise, hit subscribe. We're up to 203. I'm in the Stadium Series Malkin jersey today. There's also a video. We've got a few videos coming up, but there is one of what would a Malkin trade look like, and who would be interested. Not that I think they should trade him. Not that I'm buying into the other Penguins media. It's just, it's something that always comes up every offseason. The Penguins do poorly. And I just thought it would be fun to make a video of his landing spots, plus a little bit of clickbait. But yep, thank you so much for watching. Have a great day. See you, and bye.